Well, you would think a brand new Corvette C8 would be enough, but In Motorhead Garage fashion, we have the world's fastest production-based C8, and that is coming up next.
Motorhead Garage, the program that each week introduces you to and shows you how to install the latest in exciting and innovative products for your vehicle. Motorhead Garage is presented by NHOU Protective Coatings. Now here's your host, Dave Dobson.
Welcome to Motorhead Garage, presented by NHOU Protective Coatings. Now, the jury is back, and they say that the 2020 Corvette C8 is fabulous. Well, there's one way to make it even more fabulous, and that's to go to our friends at LG Motorsports. And Sergio, how did you take a stock Corvette like this and make it into the world's fastest C8?
Well, there's a number of things that we did. We did some aero work, some suspension work, and some interior work. We've lightened up the car a little bit by making our exhaust. It lost 45 pounds off the back of the car.
Oh, that's huge.
We did cat deletes, so that really opened it up a little bit more to get a little bit more mile an hour on the back straight. But the most obvious thing is the aero. We've done a large frame-mounted front splitter, and to balance that out, we did the frame-mounted rear wing. These are both available online, obviously, and really we just got back from Circuit of the Americas, and we tested them over the weekend. We loaded up and headed straight out here to you guys. Didn't even have time to wipe it down.
That's great. We appreciate you guys coming in. Now, the splitter, let's talk about that. How much downforce does that add? And you've driven this thing stock, of course, so what's the difference like once you go to a splitter like that?
We'll know for sure once we go to the wind tunnel and test it, but so far we've gotten as much square inch of splitter that we can on the front end of the car, and as much rear wing as we can on the back of the car. So we'll get you accurate figures in a couple of months, but for right now it feels a lot faster.
And it's not just the aero, of course you're talking wheels and tires, so getting better grip there. What are you running on this, and how's that compared to the stock Corvette?
So factory wheels and tires are a little bit narrow. We've gone to Hoosier Slicks A7s, 305s in the front, and we've also gone to 345s in the rear. So those Hoosiers are a lot stickier, and you're able to run those tires because you have a lot stronger wheels, and we got those through Forge Line. We've been using them for a long time, and we'll continue to use them. A lot more meat means a lot more grip in the turns.
And traction is king.
Oh, yes.
That traction is also helped by the suspension underneath. Tell me what you're running under this car.
So we have two modifications to the suspension. We have monoballs, which takes the factory rubber bushing, gets rid of it, and now we have a spherical bearing in there that keeps your race alignment around the track, a race alignment. It doesn't deflect under braking or acceleration. Just make sure that your car does what it needs to do.
And it's not just the monoballs. What else have you done with the suspension?
So the car came with a bunch of roll. Going around a turn, the car would roll over. We need to stop that or reduce it. So we came out with some sway bars that really plant the car around a turn, and it reduces the roll drastically going around the track.
As a racing driver, how important is it to stay consistent like that lap after lap?
Definitely important. You know, it can make or break your car. And if your car rolls over because the bushings are deflecting, it's not consistent around a turn, and you can't really push it.
So how much did you take off your time at COTA, for example, from this when it was stock to what you have on the car now?
Well, COTA's not exactly down the street, so we did quite a few mods at the same time. But in the beginning, there was a test that was held at COTA. The car went from 233. We blew right past that, and right now we're at 220.3.
Unbelievable. Pretty
Pretty big margin right there.
Another way to stay consistent is to stay in your seat, and you guys have helped take care of that problem as well.
Correct. Yes, we put some O&P racing seats in the car. Those are lighter than factory, so that's a plus right there. Those are on some sliders. We've also have our harness bar, which allows you to put our Pro 1 racing harnesses in the car that really buckle you down. 5-point harness. It's not going to let you move around and slip around the turns.
Who is buying stuff from LG Motorsports? Are you looking at racers? You're looking at guys on the street?
We have parts for street guys, car show guys, and full-on racers. You know, there are guys who just want to buy headers from us, exhaust components that we make, and we supply them with those as well. If you want to build a full-on race car, we have all the parts and experience to do that for you as well.
And how long have you guys been working with Corvette specifically?
Well, Lou Gelati was a pro race car driver. He was owner for about 34 years, so we've been doing this a lot longer than most people have been messing with Corvettes. So we're pretty much the #1 guys in the Corvette game.
How do I know I'm getting quality pieces and parts from LG Motorsports?
Well, you're buying the parts from racers, and they're made for racers. So we not only test our parts, but you know, we sell them, and we offer a lifetime warranty on all of our stuff that we make. If you break it, give us a call. We understand the racetrack's a tough place. We'll replace it for you, no questions asked.
Now, you've been around Corvettes for a long, long time. What is it that you love about them so much?
They're fast, they look great, and they're the all-American car. With a couple modifications, you can go out and pick on Ferrari Challenge cars and Porsche GT3s.
Check them out at lgmotorsports.com. If you want to take this and turn it into this, they have the parts for you. And we've got more show coming up for you. More Motorhead Garage presented by NHOU Protective Coatings coming right up.
Motorhead Garage, presented by NHOU Protective Coatings, is brought to you by RockAuto.com. All the parts your car will ever need. Borla, the world's most winning exhaust. Custom Auto Sound, the originator of classic car OEM fit radios since 1977. And by NH Oil Undercoating, the official oil-based rust prevention system.
Welcome back to Motorhead Garage presented by NHOU Protective Coatings. Now, the name on the screen says Woog, but don't let that fool you. That's Eric Vogt there, and he's with Alpine Motorsports and Vogt Performance. Eric, your name is synonymous with the snowmobile. How'd you get started in this business and wrapped up in all of this?
Actually was inspired by my father, who was a snowmobile racer. And as I grew through the years and my passion for snowmobiles increased, I started a dealership, Alpine Motorsports, about 30 years ago, in 1990. As that developed, it kind of spawned into some relationships with engineering and development, first with Arctic Cat and then some other manufacturers that reached out to us. And as that happened, that spawned a wealth of other relationships, as you can imagine. And we never really intended for Vogt to be a consumer brand. Our testing and development got noticed by a lot of different companies, different TV production crews reached out and asked me to be their technical advisor. And that landed us at the X Games. And I think that was probably a big turning point for us. And people started asking if we would just build their sleds rather than tell them what products work really good. As we still stick to the core things: empirical testing, data logging, dyno work at altitude.
You mentioned the key word there, altitude. That's what you specialize in, high altitude performance. And what are the key things when it comes to operating at altitude?
That's a tough answer, really, but I'll try to summarize it. As most people know, and most of the hot rodders that might be watching this know, altitude's a destroyer of horsepower in naturally aspirated snowmobiles. And we utilize two strokes because weight is a critical consideration in the snowmobile industry. You're typically operating in very deep snow. Deep snow requires lighter weight, more dynamic power, and just more robust power. And so we achieve that by making alterations to the stock equipment to enhance its capacity to run at higher altitudes more efficiently.
What is some of the equipment you can change out from the stock snowmobile to make it run better up there in the mountains?
I have to say there's a myriad of things, so there's almost no end to what can be changed. But snowmobiling is a lot of things to a lot of people. You have very segmented groups of snowmobilers, and maybe somebody that's familiar with the industry knows, well, there's trail or there's mountain, snow cross competition, ditch bangers, things like that. But out west, it is equally as segmented. So you have guys that want to climb chutes, these ridiculously steep things, that want to bang around in a tree-riddled, rock-strewn box canyon in the middle of nowhere in 12 foot of snow. And every snowmobiler has a different expectation of their snowmobile. So we go through this process to establish all these different things that a person might need or want. So the key things, like for instance, oftentimes we do suspension upgrades to increase both comfort, sled dynamic, weight. Lighter weight components are critical, as I mentioned. Running boards are a good example for better snow evacuation in deep snow. Of course, the next major consideration is engine output, horsepower. So we typically employ either a big bore or a turbo. And in our turbo applications, they vary as well. Sometimes we marry both a big bore and a turbo. So in doing that, we're able to effectively double the crankshaft horsepower of a stock snowmobile at this altitude. And you can imagine when you have twice as much power with a lighter sled and a bunch of other things that are very necessary, the experience gets to be quite fun.
Now, all those performance parts are great, but there's one magic element that kind of pulls them all together that you sell.
Yeah, it's the ability to interface with the factory ECU. We use an interface tool called a Vogt Torque Link. It's an encrypted device that allows us to essentially change all of the parameters and correction tables inside of the factory ECU to be able to marry the technologies that we apply to the build specific to that user. Really a key tool.
If I live up in the mountains and I want to get a snowmobile from you, how do I start the process?
Well, it's simple. You got a couple of options. You can give us a jingle at the shop, or you can just hit us up on our website, Vogt.com.
Now, you are world renowned for your snowmobile prowess. Where are your customers coming from?
Honestly, our customers are very diverse worldwide. We've shipped sleds to Finland, Sweden, and all over the United States. We have a large following. Western and high altitude applications are our main focus.
Well, thanks for being with us, Eric. Folks at home, if you're looking for the perfect snowmobile to run at altitude, check them out at vohk.com, VOHK.com. We'll be right back with more Motorhead Garage presented by NHOU Protective Coatings right after this.
Motorhead Garage, presented by NHOU Protective Coatings, coming to you from Borla Commerce Park.
You know, floor mats are kind of an unsung hero. Nobody talks about them a whole lot, but they go a long way toward protecting your vehicle, and of course they can make your vehicle look great. But there's not a lot of options out there when it comes to aftermarket floor mats. You have the cheap rubber ones that you lay down on the floor. They don't fit your car very well, and they don't last very long, and they look awful. If you're lucky, you get one that's carpeted. They still don't fit very well, but 3D custom fit floor mats can help us out. And Kyle, tell us what you have going on there that's going to make my car look great and protect it.
Today we have our 3D Max Splatter Kagyu custom fit all-weather floor mat. The floor mats are custom fit for specific vehicles, so depending on what kind of vehicle you have, Honda Accord, Ford Ranger, Tesla Model 3, whatever kind of car you have, the mats are custom fit to that specific model.
They look great in our Ford Ranger here, I can tell you, Kyle. And you sent them to us in black. What other colors are available?
The colors available for our floor mats are gray, tan, and black. So those are the main options.
Gotcha. The key to what you guys do is the construction, the durability. Tell me how they're made.
The mats are made out of a triple layer construction. The top layer of the mats are made out of a thermoplastic rubber. The middle layer is made out of an XPE foam. And the back layer is made out of our patented Max Splatter fibers. It's little hairs that grip onto the interior carpet so it doesn't ruin the vehicle.
That's an ingenious idea, because I know the cheap floor mats, the rubber ones, have the nubs on the back and they put pock marks in your carpet, and those sometimes never go away. And if you've got a classic car or a really nice car, you don't want that going on. And worse yet, some have Velcro on the back, and if you keep inserting those and removing them, that's going to tear your carpet up after a few years worth of use. But this is a great idea, and it keeps it stuck right in there. And also, the Max Fibers, in conjunction with the way it's form fit to your car, makes it stay right in there perfectly.
Exactly. Some of our floor mats have eyelets on the top of them, so it can clip directly into the vehicle so it doesn't slide around. But some of them also just cover the area to make sure that it doesn't slide around on the vehicle's interior.
What lengths do you go to make sure that each of these fits the car that they're made for?
Every single one of our floor mats get tested within each vehicle that we say that it fits. So when we say that it fits this vehicle, we've actually taken that mat, gone and found that vehicle, put it in and tested it.
Now, you've worked awfully hard at that, because you make it for a ton of vehicles. How many different cars and trucks?
We have about 6,500 different applications.
My goodness, that's incredible. And what if you don't have my brand, even though you have 6,000 of them out there, if you don't have what I need exactly, what can you do?
Yeah, well, in that case, we have our universal floor mats. They are made in the exact same method as the Kagyu floor mats. Thermoplastic rubber, XPE foam in the middle, and then Max Splatter backing on the back. These are all trimmed to fit, so they have little lines all over them that you can cut to make sure that it fits the interior of your vehicle.
Those are going to look just as great as your custom fit floor mats. And what other models of mats do you have? It's not just the Kagyu.
In addition to the Kagyu, we have our Elegant line, which is a carpeted floor mat series that is an alternative to your OEM carpet.
And you branched out quite a bit. It's not just floor mats anymore. You've got a number of other products we can check out. What do you have?
In addition to our floor mats, we have our carbon fiber handy trunk. It's similar construction to the floor mat, but it's intended for you to be able to organize the equipment that you keep in your cargo area. It's a little box.
Love it.
We have headrests, seat protectors, seat covers, and cargo liners.
Very cool. You've got a really neat line, a lot of innovative stuff. Where can we find them? Can I get them in retail stores?
We have multiple distributors online. You can also purchase them directly from us at our website at www.3dmatsusa.com.
And finally, you talk about the durability. These things are made really well. How long of a warranty? You guys really back your product.
All of our products come with a 3-year limited warranty.
It's fantastic. And again, tell me the website. Where can we find them?
www.3dmatsusa.com.
Well, you're going to love the 3D custom fit floor mats. They're going to fit your car really well, and they're going to keep it protected for a long, long time. We'll be right back with more Motorhead Garage presented by NHOU Protective Coatings right after this.
Motorhead Garage, presented by NHOU Protective Coatings, is brought to you by Mobile Environmental Solutions, the leading portable mobile paint booth. Atomic Fabrication and Performance, a one-stop shop for anything you need. Performance Fuel Injection Systems, don't gas it, inject it. And by Velocitech, performance that shows.
You know, Joe, the automobile was invented at the turn of the last century, and over the course of over 100 years, rust is still the enemy. Nobody's really figured out how to address it until now. What are you guys at NHOU doing to combat rust?
In my life, it certainly has been, which was the catalyst for me getting into this business. And rust has been dubbed the longest war. It's really difficult to beat Mother Nature, but what we do is slow her down. And what we do is mainly use an oil-based rust proofing. So if you have a brand new vehicle, we have two options, but for now we'll discuss the oil. The oil is something that would go on brand new or use pre-existing rust. It does not encapsulate the rust. That only allows it to grow beneath the surface. It looks pretty. Eventually it comes through. This will actually go down to the good metal, displace moisture, remove oxygen. As long as you have product on your vehicle, you stop oxidation.
Now, if I bring my automobile to you or to an authorized dealer, what happens to the car?
You should clean it before you come in. We would bring it in, we would blow it off. It would take about an hour. We'd apply oil to everything that's exposed in the undercarriage, all your body cavities, you're in and out, come back in a year.
Is it safe for my car? Is it safe for the environment?
Our oil is non-conductive, it is environmentally friendly, no solvents, no detergents.
What's the biggest battle you're fighting here? Obviously, we know about rust, but as far as educating the customer.
Cultural.
Yeah.
It's people thinking this through like proactively, like changing the oil on your vehicle. People don't think about corrosion until it's, they fail inspection or they have a structural failure.
Well, you're starting your education here, and if you want to further it, you can check them out at the website, Joe.
NHOilundercoating.com.
They say necessity is the mother of invention, but every once in a while, a scientist is willing to accept a happy accident. Pasha, that's exactly what happened when you found Tribotex. What were you researching when you discovered this product?
We was working on artificial joints.
Artificial joints, like hips.
Yes.
So how do you go from that to this?
So people used materials that happen to be toxic, and that spurred a lot of innovation in this area. And we started looking at the safe materials that are slide on each other. And when they slide on each other, the particles don't attach to the surface. So they get removed after a time from the interface. So we came up with the concept that when you make a nanoparticle and make it slippery only on one side, but adhesive on another side, grippy, then these particles, when they apply to the surface only by one side, but not by another. And over time, when this process happens, it covers the area in the thick enough coating that compensates for the wear that happened there for decades.
So how did you go from that then to decide, hey, I can use this in a car?
It takes a long time to bring innovation to medical devices market. So when we use the technology in engines, the customers can get benefit way faster.
So it's all about nanoparticles, and effectively they make your car perform better, but they can also actually repair it. Is that correct?
Yes. Slow amount of damage cause excessive vibration that exacerbate the wear farther down the road. When you compensate for the wear early on in the game, your engine not just lasts longer, but rejuvenate to back when it was new.
So you can check out the science behind all of it, and you can find out what it could do for your vehicle. Go to tribotex.com.
Time now for the lowdown with Magic Creeper.
Let's say for a minute that you are a professional mechanic and this is your shop. We've got cars outside waiting to go in. All the bays inside are full and you've got to do something about these cars out here. Time is money. So you want to run out and do a quick inspection on one of the cars that's waiting outside just to see how bad things are. Well, let's say this blue Dodge has an exhaust problem, which it does. We want to check it out underneath. So you grab your Magic Creeper, tuck it under your arm, walk outside. You can throw it underneath the vehicle. Now today is kind of gross outside, so everything is wet and dirty, but you don't need to worry because you have the Magic Creeper. The part of the creeper that stays on the ground is going to be on the ground the entire time. You will never get dirty. And you want to do your quick inspection here, well, you just flop down on the ground, slide out just a little bit. Under the creeper, you're able to check everything underneath that you need to look at. In this case, the suspension under here looks pretty ratty, and that pipe is going to need to be replaced. Now with the Magic Creeper, like I said, here on the ground, you don't need to worry about it. Once you pick it back up, all you have to do is use a little bit of cleaner and a rag, and you can wipe that right off, and the Magic Creeper will be ready to go. You can even use the Magic Creeper inside the shop. Even though the floor is smooth, you get the extra ground clearance because there are no wheels. You can find other products like this out there, but there's only one place to find the Magic Creeper. That is at magiccreeper.com. Well, we've got to say goodbye, but it's not for long. We'll be back next week, and we hope you join us here on Motorhead Garage. In the meantime, if you have anything you want to see on the show, email Jeff at masterstv.com. So long from our Borla studios. We'll see you next week on Motorhead Garage, presented by NHOU Protective Coatings.